come out.
Yeah, but this is timely, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe we should take a look at what other communities are doing as far as their fees for their, with Cliff, and get some kind of an idea where they are. Are we at way low? You know, where do we stand compared to other municipalities that you're working with?
How do you feel? We're low?
We're low? Okay.
What are some of the other,
Most of the ones now, what they're doing is, they're charging 10 cents a square foot for new construction. What they're doing is say like 0 to $2,000, it's an automatic 25.
but we don't have a lot of new construction, right?
Yeah.
So,
Out here, it's no big, the only way you're gonna make a big fee on a permit is if somebody comes in and does a giant, a 9,800 commercial building. But your homes, yeah, you don't really, no. But most of them know for homes, the other two towns, they do 25 from 0 to 2,000. And then it's 10 cents a square foot after that. All right, or the other ones go at $6 every, or $3 every 1,000 after the 2,000. There's a couple different ways, but town of Palatine is low.
okay.
Okay. Yeah. I don't wanna make any real big drastic changes, but
No.
maybe we need to come a little bit more in line with everyone else.
Yeah, would you volunteer to call the Association of Towns and ask them if they have any?
Absolutely.
Sample
The other
rate.
thing is to, like, you know, if there's a rooftop solar, okay, that could be almost $100,000, even though it's over a lease period, or $80,000, or the wind tower is almost $100,000, and we get $50, you know. I mean, we should be a little more into the scheduling, but I will double check, and I'll also pull some other local towns and see what their permits are basically for that, so we're in line.
Yeah, I'd like to see what others do. I'm in general opposed to any kind of, anything that would deter good local development.
I understand, but if someone's gonna build a house, the difference between paying $100 and $200 on an entire $300,000 house project is not,
It's true.
you know, but.
It's true, it's just, but
it
what
at
are we
least-
giving? We're just.
Yeah, but it covers his.
We're
it
giving nothing, yeah.
Right, it covers
he
his
needs to cover-
mileage to go out there at his
But
time, right.
If it's just a fee that the government decides
You know, we
to impose,
paid out-
then I don't.
No, we paid out 11,000, we took in 3, okay, so, I mean, it would be nice to take in 4.5 instead of
Yeah.
11, okay? That was the discussion on permits. Also, it's, maybe we can come up with a policy or a plan that when various officers take time off for the town, they send us an email so we know what's going on. So when people say, hey, this person's not in, we go, oh, really? It would be helpful if maybe we got an email. Or if we're gonna, like if Linda's gonna close for the week, she could send us an email and say, hey, I'm closing for the week. Tell everybody not to come until next Monday. That would be helpful. Instead of them coming down the door and then they come to me all grumbly because they're closed, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't know that. But that would help.
I mean, it was in the paper.
Well, I understand,
Yeah.
but I mean,
But,
just
yeah,
if,
but to let you guys.
yeah,
know.
let us know, and then we
Okay.
can. And the same thing, if Linda's off or Cliff's going off, we get a
Yeah.
little email. We can tell people, hey, don't go
Okay.
down to get a dog license this week.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not going to happen.
All right.
Okay, especially with our Amish neighbors, they don't look that much. We had discussed last year, with tax season coming up, about possibly some sort, well, we have the locking door now, which is really important, but either chaperoning or some sort of panic button or alarm. Maybe we need to revisit that pretty quickly coming up. We were going to originally put some sort of an alarm system in with the court refurbishment, but that's MIA. We haven't heard any word now in a long time if that's even going to happen or where it is in the system. So maybe we need to figure out what we can do to better protect Linda
Mhm.
and any cash she should have here. Okay, so if you have any recommendations.
Well, I did find out, not to change the subject, but I did find out that during tax season, I have to go every day.
Okay.
I would, sometimes if I didn't have a lot, I'd go 2 days. The audit says it has to be deposited
Okay.
every day.
All right.
Well, that's good,
And
okay.
Unless there's an emergency where I can't do it,
Right.
but-
Well, we need additional support, please reach out to us, because
Yep.
I don't want us to not do anything that's within our power to
Okay.
take care of that.
Sure, your
okay?
safety, of course, and as we discussed before, but, at liberty to have a deputy escort you.
Yeah, well, a deputy or, maybe the Cambridge Police.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's close by.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was on my list, though, for us to discuss. And let me get to two other things, and then I have something, one more. I have three things left. Sandy had asked us what we accomplished this year. Well, we set out a communications policy that's going to save us from any more additional Article 78s. We successfully negotiated a union contract that's great for the town and great for the workers. We developed a budget that not only is underneath the tax cap, but does not take out of any of the general fund. And we tried to get the courtroom renovation implemented. It's still in process. And we developed a really excellent planning board and Board of Ethics, and our planning board people are working on a comprehensive plan and have really showed leadership, and I want to thank you all for the planning board. It's like a breath of fresh air. And Paul, on the storage thing, we're still waiting to see if it's going to be part of the court grant renovation stuff. If not, we're going to have to do something else. I did have
There's
two...
also, by the way, for the records management,
Yes.
there's a grant opportunity that we can apply for in March, April.
In March again.
Which we don't.
Right, which we didn't get last year, but we can do
We
that.
didn't, but 2 years ago we didn't get.
Okay, great. I've had two townspeople ask me, and I wish Art was here today because I could get some clarification. The entire town barn was off Thanksgiving week and this week of Christmas, and which means that when they're called out, they're on overtime from the second they get here at the beginning of the week. And there was some questions on if a better strategy would be to keep two people on. So, like when they went out Monday morning, if two people were on, we wouldn't be paying overtime from that moment. And if we're going to get hit with the storm this week, we could rack up actually more overtime hours than regular hours because we gave the entire barn off, and I just didn't have an answer for that, and I'd really like to know what Art thought.
I would just call him directly.
Okay, and he did ask us to renew the piece, to buy a new loader, that it wouldn't cost more than $5,000 or $6,000 to get a new loader for the 2-year-old loader we have. And I really wanted to know what the criteria was for that, so we can put that in the appropriation coming in, but I have to, again, wait for
There's
that.
there's no budget action on that.
Okay,
It just, so anytime he brings it, we can
okay,
discuss it.
great, well, that's it for me. Thank you.
Any other council comments?
When you say gave 1 week off and then another, is that the standard vacation time under the union contract?
No, they can take vacation with his approval. Any union member can take a vacation with the highway superintendent's approval. But the entire crew was off Thanksgiving week, and the entire crew is off this week. So we have
Or isn't there
no.
a matter of individual hours that accrue?
Well, I've just, I had two residents ask me, why did we give them these weeks off? And if it's going to snow, then we're already paying overtime because they got to come in. And the new union contract has it, if they come in, they automatically get paid X number of hours, even if they're there for 10 minutes, okay? So I didn't have the answer to that. I didn't have the answer, and I just wondering if it's something that we've done traditionally, or if it's something, if it works out the better way, or how we did it, or what's going on, because we got to answer to the constituents. So,
Yeah.
maybe it's cheaper to just take the entire week off than it is to scatter manpower, but I would think if we needed to do a touch-up or something, we had people on duty, we wouldn't be paying all the time. But we're gonna find out, so, good, okay? But that did come up, and I just, I don't know what the policy is, or the history.
We know the policy is that it's up to the superintendent.
Okay.
But it's definitely a discussion that the council could have with Artie if it just seems like an inefficient way to do things.
I don't know, I'd have to look at the old
My
numbers.
guess is that he'll tell you that when you call the unit in, you don't just call one or two. So if you have two guys on, it doesn't get your roads plowed in the next 3 hours that they need to be plowed. You still gotta call everybody else in. So,
But it would be even if two guys were in, it wouldn't be at OT, it would be on regular time, and then we don't have to pay OT.
Right,
for
but
the-
it doesn't much matter because either way, you're all, like, over the course of the year when you're gonna have to call in overtime, most of them, a lot of times it's late at night and it's past their hours anyway.
Right, it's past their working hours.
So we're calling the whole crew in
Well,
anyway. But
we could get the hours-
I would say, just give him a call and
That'd
he'll
be
be able to
helpful,
explain
because-
it, and it's ultimately up to
Yeah,
him.
because I didn't know, and I don't want to give a resident wrong information and make it sound like we're not doing our job or whatever, I just want to know, so.
Yeah.
And we can say, hey, look, it's not really costing us any more money than if they were here. But it seemed that if they're all off and they're getting OT from the beginning, and the union contract now says, when we call them, they get paid
Mhm.
in, X number of hours if they're there for 10 minutes or 2 hours, we need to just make sure.
Well, I worked for a place where all of us got 2 weeks off a year. We were mandated to take the week between Christmas and New Year's off, and the other week was by arrangement with your supervisor. We didn't get more than 2 weeks a year because that's what it was. And this sounds like it could turn into more to me.
Some employees have 4 weeks plus.
I see.
And this is the week they're choosing for their vacation.
Okay.
So,
I wouldn't know that.
right, I want to see, in order to tell
If-
somebody who
if
wants
you
to
leave
take
the area,
vacation
you
that they
can't
can't
be
take
called.
it, I want to see a really good reason.
If you leave the
Yeah, so do
area,
I.
you're not on call and you can't be called in. Suppose you opted to go to, on ski trips or something like that.
This is what's rough about working for the highway. It's not an easy job.
Yeah.
You have to
No,
be
it's
on
not.
call pretty much all the time
But,
over
but
the
you
course of the
you
winter.
probably don't have to be on call during your vacation because who does that?
You do, I mean,
Really?
Yeah,
th-
yes, I
yeah,
Are
believe
you
so.
kidding?
yeah. This is a
Thank
job
you.
that's pretty much 24/7.
Yeah, you're
Well, I know, but-
24/7.
Suppose you have relatives in California. You go on vacation, you go see them, you can't be on call.
Right,
Am
right,
I missing
and then
something?
they'd all have to make a plan about it, and
Oh.
for the most part, our guys are here 24/7,
Yes, they
ready
are.
to be called in.
And this is no reflection, I just have to answer questions, dollars and cents. It's a
Yeah.
dollar and cents, it's not a do we do it or not do it, or
Well,
just
just-
someone asked me a dollar and cents question.
It sounds very unusual to me.
It's pretty ubiquitous for highway, Sean's here. This
Yeah, he knows
is,
how it works.
you never know when you're gonna get called, and you just gotta be ready.
The 24 hours, 24/7 job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, most places that require on-call give a fee to people that they have on-call that aren't working. I mean, it's not as much as your salary, but it's a,
The way the county is set up on an on-call basis, I have 3 foremen that are on call, and it's on a rotation. They get an extra $300
Mhm.
to be on call.
Yeah, that's what I
To
thought.
answer that phone day or night.
yeah.
And that's on top of their overtime, which in turn is also in their bargaining contract. They get paid a minimum of 3 hours whether they're there for 10 minutes.
Okay.
But in this case, plowing's a little bit different. I mean,
Yeah.
emergency traffic's gotta get through, so.
Sure.
Yeah, we're so small, we don't have a team of on-call. We don't
Right.
have people who are, basically everybody's on call.
Everybody is,
So,
in this instance, basically.
yeah, I mean, of course they can go on vacation in the summertime or, make a special arrangement, but for the most part, when winter comes, they're here. And
So you can't do a Colorado ski trip.
Well-
I don't know, I don't know what Kenny
That
Webber's
we'd have to-
doing.
we'd have to
Which
ask
is
our
also,
guys.
it's
I don't think
maybe,
he's on a Colorado ski trip.
Well, I'm just saying.
no, the fact though that they can take vacation and Art can schedule in the summertime when it's not snow season.
Yeah.
It was also unusual that someone said to me, why are they, why are we off these 2 weeks in the middle of winter?
That did go through my
when
mind
we
as
can
well.
go. So we'll find out, we'll get
I
some more
know my
information.
brother drove for DOT for many years, and there was a lot of times, Thanksgiving Day, Christmas, New Year's Day, get a phone call, and off to work you go.
Yep.
That's how it works.
Yep.
For the state, from the day after Thanksgiving to the day after St. Patrick's Day, there is no vacation.
Oh,
You're on call. If you need a day, you have to put in 48 hours ahead of time for a PL, and you only can take one day.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting.
I'd like to leave that to Art, actually, he is our
You just gotta
superintendent.
think though, if you have 2 guys on call, this is where you're gonna run into a little problem. 2 guys on call, and you call the whole crew in, you have 2 guys at regular time,
Yeah.
and you have 4 guys at overtime.
Yeah.
You're gonna get in a real
Problem.
pissing contest.
Yeah.
You'll have
That'll
those
be a
2 guys go home sick that are on regular time.
Yeah, yeah.
It will create a problem.
I think Artie's pretty good at managing
Yeah,
all
I
of
think we
this,
should
so.
let him handle that.
Well, it's fine, I just, dollars and
I
cents.
know
yeah.
what you're looking for, Chris. an
Yeah, they
answer.
want to know what.
I kind of like to know
what it
the
costs.
answer myself,
Yeah.
to tell you the truth, but.
Well,
Again,
it's good
it
and
is-
it stops people from chatting
Right.
when they don't have facts. So we're gonna get facts and we're gonna put them out there, so everyone.
Yeah, I think it would be a great idea, but again, Art has final say.
Sure.
Any other comments? Okay. All right, resolutions and motions, the one that we need to add here is we already have this, is the insurance renewals, which you have in front of you. Bill would like to present in January. But in the meantime, I do need to sign the renewal. As I understand it, it's basically going up $114. This is our broker is Mang, but the insurance is 9-year. And they basically, this is what they do. They insure municipalities, especially small ones.
Madam Supervisor, did we budget $117 more?
I don't think so, but there's for 114, it could come out of contingency.
Okay,
Not a
just
huge-
asking. So-
I know for many years, Nelliston, every year they would put it out for bid, and no one could compete with Nymer. Just,
It's fine.
the minute you mentioned Nymer, they would all say the same thing, we can't compete with that figure.
So what do you need a motion to sign the,
To authorize me to sign the insurance renewal.
I make a motion that you sign the insurance renewal.
I'll second that motion.
Right, you did this before. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Did it say a form? No?
No.
All right, I'll just sign it when he has it. The disaster mitigation plan. Now, we have the resolution, and I know you all,
I read the entire plan. There's nothing in there that requires us to donate our equipment or anything of the sort. And what the plan does is, the reason that we should sign it, after the 3 of us were kind of bothered by the idea, is that if we do, then we become eligible, toward the top of eligibility for funds that could be given by a higher level entity such as the state or the feds. If we don't sign it, then we would go to the end of the line for that. Neil and I talked with Bill Rohr, and that was his reading on this.
I felt much more comfortable. I was afraid of a whole bunch of nonsense, but Mr. Rohr was able to clarify what that does entail, what advantage it does give us, and now I'm sure of what we're getting ourselves into.
okay. And do you have the resolution from last month?
It was just, right here, the
Okay.
resolution of the town.
All right, so, I don't know if I need to read the whole thing. So this is a resolution of the town of Palatine adopting the Montgomery County multi-jurisdictional all-hazard mitigation plan. In response to the requirements of the Disaster Mitigation Plan Act, Mitigation Act of 2000. So anybody want to make that motion?
I so move.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion?
Well, one thing to say is that Bill would like the plan tomorrow, or like our reading on it tomorrow, so that we can move forward.
Okay,
He
just
said
to
he-
know that we had the
Yeah,
vote.
just to
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, he talked to me today. I have to take one of those, put a seal on it, and I have to sign it
Okay.
and drop it off to him tomorrow when I go after the taxes.
Do you want our signatures?
Yeah, you can put your signature on there too, and I'll put my signature on there, and then I'll put a seal on it
And the
and
date.
take it down to him.
Yes, after talking with Mr. Rohr, I was much more comfortable with this whole thing. I just had way too many questions, and he reassured me of the facts.
Well, we kind of thought it was a black helicopter plan. So.
No, we guess we read into it way further than we should have.
That's my favorite kind of motion to make, obviously.
What, a black helicopter?
He was able to clear all the,
Like signing the UN small arms treaty or something like
It's
that?
the only kind of resolution I bring, yeah. We haven't had the vote yet, no. Okay, so any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I
Any abstentions? And what was your concern about it?
I just think it's totally unnecessary, and we're basically creating more paperwork for us and tracking to come up for a way that the county and the state can have more funding. It's just passing money out. It's just an unnecessary plan for us, and we're gonna reap no rewards from it.
Yeah, so we'll just need to mark that.
That he opposed.
Yeah,
It passes anyway, but I'm just.
yeah.
And that will be delivered tomorrow when I go get the taxes.
Thank you.
What about the sanitary use center?
Do we need a motion?
Well, we always have had
Yes.
a motion on the youth center.
Okay.
I don't, I think